today we're going to be telling you about the iDigi Device Cloud. I'll give you an overview of the key capabilities, benefits, purposes, that sort of thing. And then I'll provide you with a brief demonstration of the console. Except it's not going to be me, it's going to be Liz who's going to provide you with a brief demonstration of the console. And then finally, we'll walk through a case study, give you an ROI. It's going to be totally different than anything you've seen before. Might be some commonalities. So we created iDigi as a vehicle, we call it to upgrade your world. My background is in technology, but specifically how it relates to solutions for people and solutions for businesses. So M2M, the Internet of Things, has been brought up already. It's really complicated. Systems require a lot of technology. There's a lot of moving parts. But I think most importantly, making a system like this requires a sound understanding of business value, of really creating value, understanding the problems to be solved. So starting from the ground up, you certainly still have to have the tools and capabilities to keep a service running. But most importantly, you have to provide that value. And we think of this as three things. Customer experience has to go up once you have a system in. Efficiencies have to be created in existing revenue streams. And/or new revenue streams have to be created. So at least one of those three things, but hopefully all three will happen when you put a system in. That's what we're looking for. That's what matters to businesses, and so that's what matters to us. iDigi upgrades your world by connecting any device to any application, anywhere, and hopefully anytime. Oh, look at the lovely animation there. So we'll start with any device. iDigi gives you capabilities for any device system. I'll explain how that happens. For remote data reporting, remote control, and device management. And device management including alarms and firmware, commissioning, that sort of thing. By any device, I mean any network device at all that can push data. So we actually produce a piece of software called the iDigi Connector. It's a small software client. It's developed in C. It also runs on Android, Python, and Java. It works on all different sorts of microcontrollers. It works on Linux. It works on Windows. So we have coverage within the iDigi Cloud for Freescale, Intel, Wind River, all sorts of embedded modules, including my personal favorite, the XB radio. Of course, Digi's collection of gateways as well, so those edge devices you've been hearing about. Any application. iDigi is a data and device enablement platform. So it's not an application platform. It combines device information and sends it to applications that are going to solve business problems, and I'll show you a few examples of that. And again, hopefully that will enable things like better customer service, improved revenue streams, or new ones. Any application means that we talk through secure, RESTful web services. We also have specific APIs that are aimed at mobile monitoring, energy, and of course device management. And we can both push data out to those applications or pull data in. So we can send data just when an event happens, or we can send data all the time in either direction. Polling or streaming, whichever way the application wants to talk, we're ready to do that. Of course, we have sample code, so we have an expanding application platform with all sorts of drivers and sample code. We have a device connector for force.com. I'll get right into that in a minute. And we can connect to things like Google applications, but really anything that will talk web services. Our devices live in cities, they live in hospitals, they live on the open prairie, they live in taxi cabs in India, you name it. So it's important that we can connect to a device anywhere it is. And so the iDigi device platform is optimized for low power and low data bandwidth type of connections. we're paying attention to the cost of these services and trying to make the tightest protocols possible. And we can move data through a whole variety of connections. So HTTP, the web, TCP, UDP, short messaging, both SMS or for satellite. And we've engineered iDigi so it's easy to cross firewalls, routers, subnets, wherever your device is plugged in. It's going to be able to connect to the platform and pass data off in the right way. We've also helped internationally with multi-market cellular subscription management. I'll talk about that shortly. So iDigi is also a platform. We are focused on things like data access, so we can translate web services to native device protocols like Modbus or CAN bus or RCI. And we can pass that information directly or we can cache it, either way, depending on the needs of the application. We also offer long-term storage for our data streams feature. And lots of tools for configuration and software management, making groups of devices, doing alarming, all-important alarming, commissioning devices. We're verified up to 2 million devices and growing, 2,200 transactions per second and growing, and we adhere to a whole bunch of different security protocols, very important. That was all stuff we presented the last time around when we got our platform crown, I guess. But we're not resting on our laurels. There's new things to iDigi, including a whole new carrier management feature. We also, since Digi's very recent acquisition of Etherios, we are able to plug iDigi in very deeply into the Force.com cloud. So that's a real way for us to connect with businesses and meet business needs in one of the most popular application platforms out there. So let me tell you a little more about those two things. We'll start with Salesforce. With the Etherios acquisition, Digi becomes a Salesforce Platinum partner, and our collective product, Social Machine, is going to hook devices into the whole corporate information infrastructure. This makes them a key player in conversations. That's why we're calling them the social machines. They're going to join the conversation that is happening on Salesforce.com already between customers, dealers, service people, and the like. Here's how it works. We go ahead and we connect devices, then gather them into the Salesforce cloud through iDigi, and this plugs them right in for creating a comprehensive business process improvement. iDigi is outcome focused, so the social machine drives improvements really across the enterprise: service, operations, engineering, finance, you name it. Here's a use case for that, by the way. Let's say a commercial customer has a spa, and that spa is plugged into iDigi. By plugging it through the social machine into the Salesforce cloud, now, if that customer's spa pump overheats, the dealer can find out about it, dispatch mobile field service. That field service personnel can then go out there, see what's going on, update the record continuously as they fix it. Maybe there's parts that need to be ordered, maybe things are going well. When it is fixed, tech support is also kept up to date at the same time, so everyone's looking at that same information. So the customer doesn't have that terrible experience that we've all had where you call in and they ask you for whatever your ID number is, and you explain your problem then again and again and again. In fact, in this case, you may not even know you have a problem. The dealer may be contacting you to say that help is already on the way. Carrier subscription management, another brand new feature. This doesn't change the relationships you have with carriers, with multiple carriers. That's still yours. You will still work with your choice of providers, whoever they are, but you'll have one place to do it. I think of this as being a little like something like Orbitz or Kayak, where you're actually able to be plugged in to all the different providers that you deal with in one central place. But different from Orbitz or Kayak in that we're not acting as a marketplace. This is a convenience feature. And at rollout, we're supporting a bunch of big names, and through Jasper Wireless, a whole bunch more. But I won't bore you guys with logos. You've seen an awful lot of logos already. What I will entertain you with is a demonstration. So Liz is going to take you on a brief tour of iDigi. By the way, we've always believed in transparency, so at any time, you can check on status.idigi.com and see how iDigi is doing, what the response times are. Great.
We're going to cover some of the features that Rob mentioned. It's going to be quick because we only have 5 minutes. This is your entry to the iDigi platform. You started a welcome tab here with some tips on getting started. I'm the social media and community manager, so I have to point out that our blog, our videos, everything like that lives here. iDigi Manager Pro is the tab where a lot of the action happens. So what you're seeing here is all of your iDigi registered devices. So all of your devices that you have on iDigi are here. This could be thousands of devices, and in most cases it is. So we have a grouping feature that Rob had mentioned. You can really easily add your groups here on the side, and you can manage your devices by clicking a certain one and adding it to a specific group. You can see here, assigned to group. Also, when we right-click on a device, we have many options that we can look at. So just scrolling down to administration so we can talk about some of those options. You can upload files, you can upload Python scripts to gateways, you can export configurations, and you can also clone those configurations and import them to multiple devices. This is also where you would update your firmware to one or many of your devices. Also, a search feature here at the top, so if you have something like a MAC address, you can easily find specific devices. All right, alarms is where you can see the status of all of your devices, and you can actually set up custom parameters so you can get alerts based on what you want to know about your devices. So you can really simply go in and choose what kind of alarm you want, and for each alarm type, there are different customizations. So you can go in and customize your alarms. Again, you can set those alarms for whole groups or specific devices. You can decide if you want to get a daily digest or if you want to be alerted in real time when something happens. Operations tab is where you can see all of the operations that have happened on the iDigi platform. And even better than just operations is that you can come into the schedules tab and you can schedule those operations to happen. So when we add a new schedule, we can come in and this wizard will walk us through how to do that. What we can do here is we can set up a one-time operation to happen in the future, or we can have it happen immediately, and we can also schedule it to happen on an ongoing basis. So data services is where you can see all your files that are living on the iDigi device cloud. So these could be files that your devices are pushing up to the cloud or that you've stored here yourself. The great thing about this is that you can come into the data stream section and actually visualize that data. Try to find one really quickly that we can look at. Okay, well, I'm not going to spend time going through them, but you're able to look at all of your time series data here.
Let's go ahead and look at API.
Okay.
Do you have a thing on that, or you want me to do it?
You can go ahead and do it.
Okay, so one of the points that I'd like to make, last point of the demonstration, there's a lot of richness in iDigi. You may have seen it the last time we presented. But one of the most important things is that every single feature in iDigi is available through our API. So setting an alarm, looking at a particular roll-up of data, triggering a firmware update to a group of devices, all available both through the interface and through the API, so an application can do everything that an individual human operator can do. I'm going to go very quickly then, with our slight amount of remaining time, and show you our ROI statement, but just the one slide. Okay, here we go. All right, so the problem, M2M use case, vending machines, problem, people going around picking up the money from the vending machine may not be doing good receipts reconciliation. In other words, coins are ending up in their pockets rather than yours. Machines go down, that costs. And also, even if there's no pilfering, anytime a truck roll comes out to a machine that is not full of coins, you're losing money. You're expending money to pick up money that's not there. So that all adds up on a machine basis per year, $1,000. Doesn't seem like that much to a business. It'd be a lot of money maybe to me, but not so much to them. The solution uses iDigi to automate all that, stores the reading, aggregate data, monitor the coins, monitor the run cycles, control the circuit breakers, and obviously there are costs involved. There's cellular and control hardware, and there are platform fees as well. Here's the business impact. You've got an annual loss because there are 25,000 of these machines. You've got an annual loss just on a receipt reconciliation of $11 million. The first year, we are expecting to improve that by 80%. That's an almost $9 million impact on the bottom line. Pickups improved by just under $3 million. And then downtime due to maintenance failures, because we find out about them right away, we can improve that as well. Instead of having your machines down 10% of the time, you reduce that greatly. You get another over $3 million back. Costs in the first year are about $5 million to roll the stuff out. And the full first year bottom line net impact, $10 million in free money to the company. And even more the next year and the next year. So this system, when we first presented it, was in pilot. It's now underway in a full rollout. And I would like to thank you for your time and listening.